Hello and welcome to gusmcdollgames. I'm Nick McDowell and today we're continuing the Allied Grand Campaign in Close Combat A Bridge Too Far, a game based on the Battle of Arnhem, Operation Marketgarden. In this series we use the missions in the Allied Grand Campaign to illustrate one or more aspects of World War II infantry minor tactics at the company level and below. Each episode we conduct basic mission analysis, develop and analyse possible courses of action, then decide and execute the plan in real time, followed by lessons learned. Please remember to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. In this episode we're in the Eindhoven sector, the Zon tactical area of responsibility. Our objective is Zon Bridge. Take the bridge before the Germans blow it or suffer a massive delay. Then hold the bridge against all counterattacks so the road will remain open for 30 Corps and its supply train. Try to suppress the anti-aircraft guns. Make a focused attack on one area to make it across the kill zone and into the German-held buildings. It can be done. It must be done. Should you be repulsed in the attack, you must launch another attack as soon as possible to take the bridge. The Germans won't leave it while it is still intact, so there is no need to retreat back to Zon town. Let's examine our forces. Immediately you can see the impact of our losses in the previous battle. Not only is our company group under strength, but our teams are under strength by 10 people. This will be a tough fight against an enemy in prepared defences. Airborne BAR teams are the core of the American Airborne Divisions. They use an automatic rifle, semi-automatic rifles, and hand grenades. The leader is armed with a carbine. Use them on the front line, but they should run or hide from tanks. Airborne rifle teams use semi-automatic rifles and hand grenades. The team leader is armed with a carbine. Use them on the front lines and to hold victory locations. They are useless against tanks. Airborne ad hoc rifle teams are low-quality replacement teams. They use semi-automatic rifles and hand grenades. The team leader is armed with a submachine gun. Use them to free up higher-quality teams for other duties. Airborne 60mm light mortar teams also contain semi-automatic rifles and hand grenades. Because mortars can shoot over obstacles, position these teams behind buildings or trees. Use them to lay smoke screens. Next, let's look at the map and do some mission analysis. I'll develop a plan and then execute it in the game. Our mission is to seize and hold Zon Bridge in order to clear the route for 30 Corps and its supply train. We have an understrength company from the 101st Airborne Division consisting of 4 BAR squads, a rifle squad, an ad hoc rifle team, and a 60mm mortar. Using the north point depicted in the river, north is to the right of the map, the top of the map is west, left is south, and the bottom of the map is east. I have marked 7 areas of interest. Number 1, the fields behind a row of hedges and buildings that would make a good covered forming up point against the east of the town. Number 2, a 3-storey building in an open area, with excellent fields of fire right and left out to the edge of the town. Number 3, a wooded area and clearing that would make a good forming up point against the western edge of town. Number 4, a suspected 8.8cm anti-aircraft gun position west of the town covering the bridge. Number 5, an open area immediately in front of some ruined buildings on the outskirts of town. Number 6, the town buildings around the Zon Bridge. And number 7, a suspected 8.8cm anti-aircraft gun position on the other side of Zon Bridge, covering the road through town and the bridge itself. I assess the enemy will centre their defence in the town, taking advantage of the cover and using the multi-storey buildings to dominate the approaches to the bridge. They are likely to have a platoon either side of the road and a squad-sized security outpost in the small building on the outskirts of town for early warning. Finally, there are 2 suspected anti-aircraft gun positions, one each side of the river. These are deadly against tanks, but can also fire at my infantry. My first course of action is a frontal assault along the road. I will use the mortars in a support by fire position and place a BAR light machine gun team in an attack by fire position in the 3-storey building to provide flanking fire. Using a mortar quick smoke mission to screen my advance, all 6 squads will eliminate the security outpost before rushing the buildings on the outskirts of town. My mortar will then switch to an HE immediate neutralisation mission to suppress the 8.8cm gun position on the far side of the bridge. I will exploit the likely boundary between the platoon positions to push through the town to the bridge and prevent its demolition by the Germans. This is a feasible plan, but for 2 factors. First, I only have an understrength company with understrength squads, which will make it hard to overwhelm the enemy with either numbers or superior firepower. Second, there's too much risk of being caught in a crossfire, either in the advance to the town or in the town itself. My second course of action is a right flanking attack on the town. Again, I will use the mortars in a support by fire position and place a BAR light machine gun team in an attack by fire position in the 3-story building to provide flanking fire and suppress the security outpost. Using a mortar quick smoke mission to screen my advance, my main effort of all 6 squads will rush across the open ground to the woods. The mortar will fire an immediate neutralisation mission on the 8.8cm gun position, which my squads will then assault and destroy. The mortar will meanwhile switch targets to the closest buildings. My squads will turn left and assault along the riverbank into the town. The mortar will then switch to suppress the second gun position. My squads will fight through to the bridge and prevent its demolition by the Germans. This plan means I am only fighting one enemy squad or platoon at a time, a much more manageable task for my depleted units. The problem with this plan is that the gun position is not an essential task to complete my mission. There is too much risk that I will get bogged down, assaulting the gun, suffer casualties, and be exposed to the second gun in the assault on the town. This risk is also apparent in my concept of fire support, as I will have to divide my limited mortar ammunition across 3 HE targets instead of 1. My third course of action is a left flanking attack on the town. Again, I will use the mortars in a support by fire position, but place the BAR light machine gun team in an attack by fire position in the 2-story building to provide flanking fire and suppress the security outpost. Using a mortar quick smoke mission to screen my advance, my squads will advance into the ruins and buildings in the east of the town, then turn right and assault through the town, fight through to the bridge, and prevent its demolition by the Germans. My greatest period of danger is crossing the open ground from the line of departure to the town, but I will be screened by smoke, and this plan entirely dislocates one or both of the gun positions, as well as ensuring I only fight one platoon at a time. With a limited number of soldiers, and time running out to seize the bridge intact, this is the best plan. When employed to screen an advance or to cover troop movements, smoke is most effective when placed directly on or immediately in front of the enemy's front lines, or on his observation posts. We have 30 minutes to achieve our objectives. I will now move my troops into position and execute the plan in real time. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the various courses of action and if you have identified a viable alternative. If you want to speed things up, just skip ahead every few seconds and see the battle unfold. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And so we begin. My troops are in position at the forming up point. The mortar starts to lay a smoke screen as planned. My attack by fire position starts to lay down suppressing fire on suspected enemy positions on the northern edge of town. A well-placed round from enemy indirect fires injures the mortar detachment commander within seconds. I spot a sniper breaking cover from the buildings and moving into the ruins directly in my line of advance. I also spot a reserve squad amongst the ruins. Unbelievably, a second round from enemy indirect fires injures a second member of the 3-man mortar detachment. I start to move my troops from the forming up point to the line of departure along the hedgerow. I spot an MG42 position near the reserve squad and retask the mortar to drop HE as the MG42 opens up. The first round knocks out their reserve squad leader. There is a saying that no plan survives first contact. My plan for an orderly advance across open ground covered by smoke goes out the window, as the enemy have an MG42, reserve squad and sniper directly in my way. I'm sticking with my basic plan for a left flanking attack, but need to make some rapid modifications on the fly. The smoke is dissipated, so it becomes a firefight for fire superiority between my squads along the hedge and the enemy platoon. This seems to bear fruit as I observe some of the reserve squad retreating. But the MG42 is still active, and I am starting to take casualties. I locate a second sharpshooter or sniper in the two-story building overlooking my left flank and task indirect and direct fire to suppress the position. With the MG42 suppressed, my first BAR team, commanded by the lieutenant, dashes across the open ground. They identify the first sniper position in the ruins and immediately assault. The sniper is killed. The last member of the mortar detachment becomes a casualty, and I lose my indirect fire support. I knew this battle would be tough, but not this tough. Time for another team to cross the open ground while I can still generate suppressing fire.
Secure the area!
The first BAR squad moves in to secure the warehouses and immediately makes contact. A grenade settles the matter, and the squad secures the area. So far, it looks like I'm winning the firefight on my left flank, despite the loss of indirect fire support and mounting casualties. I locate the enemy mortar team on the other side of the river, as they drop rounds along my axis of assault across the open ground. But I now have 2 squads in the town working their way towards the bridge. A third makes its move across the open ground. I managed to bring direct fire onto the MG42 position, which is still firing. It is too much for the gun detachment commander, who is shot as he falls back. But the gun keeps firing. There are only seconds now until the bridge is ready for demolition. We take a prisoner, as my first BAR squad has moved from the warehouses to secure the northern approach to Somme Bridge.
Hol mich hier raus! Team redeploy.
Meanwhile, I assault the MG42 crew as they move towards the ruins.
Nail them!
This pays off, as the last remaining crew member is killed.
Unter Beschuss!
Time for the remaining squads to work their way towards the bridge. The squad, in the attack by fire position, assaults towards the suspected security outpost at garrison headquarters.
Team redeploy.
And my last squad in the forming up point assaults towards the town. The Germans have not destroyed the bridge yet, so I order a squad forward across the main road to take the toll house overlooking the bridge.
Air secured.
I also secure the garrison headquarters building.
Out of range!
I start taking fire from the 8.8cm gun position across the river.
Team redeploy. Air secured. Team redeploy.
But I secure the toll house.
Team redeploy.
At this, the Germans demolish the Somme Bridge. This is incredibly disappointing, as my squads are close enough to get wet, and this will cause extensive delays for 30 Corps to advance to Nijmegen and beyond. My squads move into the 2-storey building on the northern outskirts of town to find they have incapacitated the second sniper there.
Out of range!
But more fire is coming from the western side of town, so this fight is not over yet.
Team redeploy. Team redeploy. heavy fire!
It turns out to be another reserve squad, and I start to take further casualties from the gun amongst an exchange of grenades with the reserve squad.
Hol mich hier raus! Hol mich hier raus! Charge!
We're under heavy fire!
Take cover!
I need to clear German infantry from this side of the river so that 30 Corps can safely bring up its bridging assets.
Das Blut! Charge!
The reserve squad appears to have broken, but I find a Panzerschreck squad hiding in a building. Hand-to-hand combat follows, with casualties on both sides.
Hol mich hier raus! Nicht schießen! Trencher! Nicht schießen!
The remaining Germans in the town surrender.
Incoming!
A quick tally shows I've accounted for 2 snipers, an MG42 team, 2 reserve infantry squads, and a Panzerschreck. There is nothing more I can do on this side of the river. I do not need or want to assault the gun positions, and have no appetite for needless casualties. My forces are thin enough as it is. It is time to bring the battle to a close. The battle ended because both sides agreed to a ceasefire. The bridge was blown. The Allies must wait for 30 Corps to arrive, and then it will require 14 hours to repair. Because the bridge was blown, the Germans must retreat and regroup. I suffered 15 casualties and inflicted 13 casualties on the enemy in the assault. Let's examine casualties on both sides. First, the Americans. My BAR squads made it through, although my rifle squads were mauled and I lost my mortar. Next, the Germans. They lost an MG42 team, most of their reserve infantry, 2 snipers, but got to keep 2 8.8cm guns and a Granatwerfer mortar for another day. My decision to avoid unnecessarily assaulting the first gun position in a right flanking attack was sound. My basic plan for a left flanking attack was also sound, and I was able to adapt quickly to adverse changes in circumstances, including stronger than expected enemy defences and the loss of my indirect fire support. However, almost all my casualties, 12 of 15, were sustained in the last minutes of the battle, from Yukanovich's gun position across the river. I should have been more patient in this phase of the attack, especially as the bridge was already blown. Perhaps I should have used smoke to screen my movement across the road. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.